Q&A time. All right, we're going to start rolling with some Q&As more often, just because I feel like there's some stuff that I want, I want you guys to be able to interact with what you guys want to know more about me, about prep, because, my channel isn't all just about prep right now. That's the main focus, but, there's more to Riley than just prep, believe it or not. So, yeah, we're going to just do some more weekly Q&As every now and then, you know what I mean? So I asked you guys some questions on my Instagram, just stuff you guys want to know, mainly about prep. We're going to go over like prep Q&A stuff today for the most part. Eventually we'll get into some more personal stuff, but prep is the focus for today, okay? So just because I feel like I haven't been able to touch base too much on questions that you guys want to know, I've talked about the things I want to talk about for the start of my prep, but I know there's lots of questions that, people are curious about or want to know, etc., etc. So we're just going to hop right into it. So let's see. First question is, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm not entirely sure what your name is. I want to say it's Belle. Maybe not. You guys will see the questions popping up here. But question is, what is the most valuable thing you've learned throughout your bulk and the beginning of your prep? It's a good question. So I would say the most valuable thing that I've learned with the bulk, there's a lot of things, okay? There's a lot of things that I learned about the bulk. I would say the biggest thing is I learned a lot about how far I'm willing to take my mental out of my physical appearance, if that makes sense. So obviously when you're bulking for a while, you kind of get to a point where you get a little uncomfy, you don't feel maybe the best about yourself. I got to that point a long time ago. And honestly, it just kind of like, I had to teach myself how to take out any judgment in regards to my physical appearance. So I definitely learned a lot in that regards. I learned how to force feed myself, which that sounds kind of intense, but it's honestly the truth. Like, I would have days where I was so full and I didn't want to eat more, and I just I had to do what I had to do to get in calories. So I guess that's something I learned. But you did say most valuable thing. So to wrap it up, the most valuable thing I think overall that I learned bulking was just to be nice to myself, be kind to myself, and not, again, try to not judge myself and beat myself up so much all the time, because I do it a lot. So yeah, just be kinder to myself, I guess, that to kind of sum it up. And then beginning of my prep. So as you guys are watching this, I'm going into week 4 of prep. So we're still at the baby stages of it so far, but honestly, the first 3-4 weeks so far have just been really about learning how to switch your mindset from, okay, like, in your off season or bulk or whatever you want to call it, you have that flexibility and that balance of being able to, be like, okay, like, I have my meals. However, I know if I go out to dinner or whatever, there's not really a consequence that comes from it so much as when you're on prep, you have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You have to be on your stuff. You absolutely cannot miss meals. Your meal timing needs to be there. It's all the little things that I think when you're in an off season, you kind of, I don't want to say take for granted, but, now it's like, if I want to try a little bite of this, you can't do that, and that just comes with prep in general. But, yeah, I guess just kind of learning how to switch that mindset of like, it's go time, like it's time to focus. No more time for nonsense or anything like that. And I'm definitely there now. There was just like a lot of other stuff in my personal life going on in the midst of that. So it was a little bit of a rough transition mentally, but physically it was totally fine. So that's the answer to question number 1. We'll go right into the next question. So, favorite thing to snack on while on prep. So honestly, I don't get snacks, really. Like, I get my meals. I have technically 5 meals a day. I guess you could call 2 of them like snacks. Like, I have a post-workout snack meal that's like a banana and a protein shake. And then I also have like 2 rice cakes and nut butter. I guess those are my snacks, but I really don't get like little snacks and stuff like that. I get more meals than anything, I would say. So yeah, and this is a good question. Okay, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know I eat some crazy stuff sometimes because I'm the CEO of you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? But craziest down bad meal I've had so far in prep was definitely, if you guys, like I said, if you follow me, it was half an English muffin with a hard-boiled egg from the grocery store with no salt, pepper, nothing. It was just, that's all it was. It was terrible, to be honest. It didn't even taste like a real egg, but I actually thought it was pretty good, but you guys were grilling me, okay, in my DMs. Pretty bad on that one. Moving along. Okay. So this is a pretty good question from Alessandra. How will you manage sleep once you get deeper in the cut? So, if you guys follow other bodybuilders or have been in like a deep cut yourself, usually once you hit a certain part of prep, you get to the point where your body no longer wants to sleep. Just because, one, you can be honestly very hungry. Two, your exhaustion levels are almost so high that your body has a hard time winding down from it. So that can come from like a lot of different things. Some people struggle, you know what I mean, on prep to sleep. Other people sleep like a baby. I've heard both things, but usually once you get closer to your show, it can be a little bit harder to sleep. So honestly, as much as I want to answer that, we're gonna have to get over that bridge once we get to it, because right now my sleep is still fine. So yeah, TBD. Let's see. Okay, are you changing any of your workouts since starting prep? So, no. My training program has been the same for the last 3 months now. 3-ish months, I would say. Longer, actually. But yeah, it's been the same since my off season, just because my body was responding really well to it. And in all honesty, you guys, my food has not dropped once since the start of prep yet. And I'm still losing weight. Check-ins have been improving every single week, so there's been no reason for me to change the training protocol or anything like that yet. I will get to a point eventually where my body is just going to be tanked, and I'm just not going to have the energy levels to keep up with the amount of volume that I'm doing, because I'm just going to keep it real here. My volume is, I would say, pretty high for my training. It's not something that I would recommend like everyone to do. But yeah, as of right now, no, it has not changed. Moving along, do I take any pre-workout? So right now, no, I don't. All I'm drinking right now for like caffeine purposes, coffee and tea. That's it. Those are per my coach's requests. I'm honestly not huge on pre-workout either. I do drink it sometimes, but as of right now, my coach doesn't want me touching pre-workout at all. So we've just been drinking coffee for the most part, which honestly, I'm totally fine with, because I love espresso. So yes. Okay. Are you meal prepping at all? If so, how many days at a time? So yes, I do meal prep, but I also have a meal prep sponsor. So it kind of goes hand in hand. There's certain things that I like to cook and I would prefer to not be meal prepped, like my steak. I still get steak right now, and I love me a good freshly cooked steak. So like I do meal prep that. I still do meal prep like some chicken and stuff on the side, but like I said, I am lucky enough to have a meal prep sponsor. So like a lot of my main food sources, like my chicken, yeah, it's actually mainly like my chicken right now. I get ground beef from them, and just like basmati rice, like competition approved basmati rice. And that's kind of honestly like makes up 70% of what I eat anyways. So yeah, but I do like meal prep like my vegetables. I have my fruit and all that kind of stuff going as well. So yes, I do. And then if so, how many days at a time? I'm again lucky that I work from home for the most part, so I can kind of cook things as the day goes along, but I definitely like to at least have vegetables like made for like at least 2 days at a time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like having like vegetables ready for like 5 days at a time, because they get all mushy and gross, and that's not very yummy. So yes. Let's see what else. Do you take any supplements to help with digestion? Yeah, so I do take a prebiotic, and I do take digestive enzymes as well. I wouldn't say like don't rely on those things to have good digestion. If your digestion is poor without them, usually something is not working right, I would say. But yes, I do take them just because it helps kind of aid the digestion more than anything. So what is your go-to pre and post workout meal and prep? So For those of you that are either new here or you don't touch base on my Instagram too much, I'm on a meal plan and I have been for a while, so I don't get to kind of pick my go-tos, but I enjoy what they are, so we can touch base on that. So for my pre-workout meal, it's always chicken and rice. The amount varies. Right now it's like 3/4 cup of rice, 4 ounces of grilled chicken or just chicken breast. And then my post-workout meal is, like I said, that little snack that I just briefly mentioned. It's just a banana and a scoop of whey protein and 1 rice cake as well. That's subject to change for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if my banana gets taken out eventually because it's a little bit higher in carbs. Probably a question that a lot of you guys want me to talk about. What is the hardest transition from bulking to cutting in your opinion? So I personally think that the transition should not be as hard as a lot of people make it. If there's kind of like a lack of knowledge in regards of like how to do it, I can totally understand that. But really all it should be is when you're in a bulk, right, in a surplus of calories, all you need to do is slowly bring your food down and bring your cardio up until you get to like a maintenance level, right? So we're bulking, we bring the food down, we bring up cardio till we get to a maintenance point. And then in order to get into that deficit, you kind of have to keep dropping food and pushing cardio, right? So it's kind of figuring out the balance of what works best for you. I will say it usually takes longer to make that transition happen than people think. I think a lot of people go from bulking and then all of a sudden they wake up one day and they're like, I want to cut, and they cut their food in half. Don't do that, okay? Don't do it. I promise it's not going to work very well. You're just going to make your body stall out. But in regards to like what makes that hard, obviously you're going to get hungry. It's going to happen at some point. Even though my food hasn't dropped yet, I'll be honest with you guys, like I am getting like a little bit hungry. It's not anything that I complain about. It's nothing that's extreme, but like that kind of feeling of hunger has slowly creeped back in, which is actually, I'm gonna be honest, feels kind of good, because when I was bulking, I was full 24/7. It was not very fun, but